तव कथामृतम् तप्तजीवनम् कविभिरीडितम् कल्मषापहम् श्रवणमङ्गलम् श्रीमदाततम् भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भूरिदा जनाः भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भूरिदा जनाः।
ॐ तव कथामृतं तप्तजीवनं कविभिरीडितं कल्मषापहं श्रवणमङ्गलं श्रीमदाततं भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भूरिदा जना. We are studying the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, and we are in the conversation of 1st January 1883. And it seems that being a New Year's Day, it's a holiday because turn by turn many people are coming. Now we are with the Ramakrishna and Master. Together, Thakur is telling something. And we have started that topic, and we'll go back to that point, to M and Ramakrishna. Many people talk of Brahmajnan, but their minds are always preoccupied with lower things. So talking and in the mind different. House, buildings, money, name and sense pleasure. These are the lower things. As long as you stand at the foot of the monument, so long do you see horses, carriages, Englishmen and Englishwomen. So Octoluni Monument in Calcutta is a very high tower, and in those days, around that, many Britishers were living in India. So Thakur is talking that you will see different things, houses, horses, carriages. Cars were not in vogue in those days. So all the rich people had horse carriages. So you'll see horses, carriages. That means that area, posh area, we may say, it belongs to rich people. Englishmen and Englishwomen. But when you climb to its top, you behold the sky and the ocean stretching to infinity. From that height, you do not see the lower things, your eyes go straight to the ocean. And where it ends? Nowhere, stretching to infinity. Then you do not enjoy buildings, carriages, horses or men. They look like ants. So when you are down, your mind goes to those things and you enjoy them. But when you rise above, when you see infinity, no longer the attraction for lower things remain. And so you do not see them at all. Because of the height, they appear like ants. And you don't get interested at all. You get interested in the infinity. All such things as attachment to the world and enthusiasm for woman and gold disappear after the attainment of the knowledge of Brahman. So, difference between infinity and finite beauty. Then comes the cessation of all passions. So, all passions depend upon the attraction to lower things. When the log burns, it makes a crackling noise and one sees the flame. That is, in Bengal, in big hotels, the logs of wood from Sundarban are used. And Sundarban wood is full of, it is raw and it is full of juices. So this crackling sound comes. And one sees the flame. But when the burning is over, only ash remains. So the world will not be there. World perishes. Then no more noise is heard. So the world perishes, the problems of the world, talk of the people, all that goes away. Thirst disappears with the destruction of attachment. Finally comes peace. So the mind, when it goes high, this is what happens. Thirst disappears. Thirst is the craze for enjoyment. That disappears with the destruction of attachment. So attachment is the first, and then desire. And this desire is like thirst. And all this disappears when the mind goes higher towards Brahman. Up to that, we had read last time. Finally comes peace. Finally, when you realize God, then there is nothing but peace. That he repeats, the nearer you come to God, degrees. The nearer you come to God, the more you feel peace. That is, the world is made of subject you living in objects world. And so always there is an attraction, interaction between the subject and object, compulsorily. That is the nature of the world. Now you are going to God. That means the subject-object split is getting reduced. In God, there is no subject-object split at all. Wherever you see subject-object split, you should understand that is Maya. That is the Leela of God. That is the play of God. In the real nature of God, there is no split. That is the meaning of the word Advaitam. Advaita does not mean Aham Brahmasmi. Advaita means reality has no subject-object split. That is the Advaita. So when you go nearer that, now nearer is not physical. Nearer is that consciousness goes to higher level. So the difference between the subject and object vanishes, reduces. On the grossest level, the difference is too much. So when the mind goes to subtle level, difference between you and God also becomes less and less. And the difference between you as subject and the world as object gets reduced. Finally comes peace. So when you reach God, there is no scope of any disturbance. All the disturbance in life is due to subject-object split of consciousness. So that vanishes. And this he tells in degrees. The nearer you come to God, the more you feel peace. Peace, 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 supreme peace. Why has he repeated the peace thrice? You know the famous chant, Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace is not of three types, but the disturbances, Ashanti, is of three types. The first is called Adhyatmic. Adhyatmic does not mean spiritual. Adhyatmic means your own body and mind. Disturbance due to your own body and mind. That is Adhyatmic disturbance. Body sick, well, some disturbance, mind disturbance. So that is called the Adhyatmic causes of disturbance. The next is Adhibhautik. Adhibhautik means it has three meanings. Bhuta means elements and Bhuta means beings. So Adibhautik means due to nature. Now, heat is there, cold is there, changes in the temperature are there, and so many factors of the natural disturbance, as we say, are there. So that is Adibhautik disturbance. Then there are animals, beings, insects, worms, infinite types almost in this world. Now they are not coming deliberately to trouble you, but they have their own field, they have their own life, they have their own circle, sphere rather. And when your sphere of activity and their sphere of activity crosses each other, the problems come. For example, now mosquitoes. Mosquitoes are not want to trouble you. They want their food, and their food is blood. So they want to take that blood. For you, it is a disturbance. Tiger, he wants his food. You are his food. Dogs, cats. So all the beings of this universe compulsorily, without deliberately their meaning, that they trouble because our sphere crosses their sphere. Then there is a third part of this bhutas. Bhutas means human beings. And same rule applies there. You know, in psychology, there is a persecution mania. That means everybody is troubling me, everybody is on me, nobody is on you. Everybody has his own sphere, own circle. And when that clashes with yours, the problems will come. So these three factors are called Adibhautik causes of disturbance. And the third type is Adidevik. Adidevik means supernatural, unexpected. Tsunami, corona pandemic, landslides. So these are troubles due to supernatural factors. Now, if your mind is going higher and higher, if your mind has reached God, then you do not feel troubled by your body or mind. You do not feel troubled at all by the nature outside. Swami Vivekananda has told a story. A mosquito was sitting on the horns of a bull. And after some time, its discriminative knowledge opened and he says, Mr. Bull, if I have troubled you, I will fly away. Mr. Bull says, bring all your family and sit on my horn, nothing happens to me. So, this is an example that if we raise our consciousness higher, our resistance becomes stronger. All this due to the reduction of subject-object level of consciousness. And when you reach God, there is no subject, no object. So all these phenomena will remain in the world. We do not pray to God, please remove this. If all disturbances vanish, our struggle vanish. We sleep. And there are other disturbances. Thakur has told a story. A fisherman is sitting very near the sea and is trying to catch fish. And a storm is going on, because of which the water is disturbed and fishes are not staying there. So there is a Mahatma there. So the fisherman requests the Mahatma, please stop the storm so that I can catch fish. And that Mahatma feels sympathy for him. So by supernatural power, he stops the storm. One ship which is going purely by the wind sinks, and so many people die. So we should not ask to change the course of nature, but we should ask, or we should see that we go to such heights that these things do not trouble us. We have seen Thakur's disciples. How many? Latu Maharaj, Trigunatha Swamiji, they are sitting in an open boat. And tide has taken that boat somewhere else, they are not aware. So, that is the way. And so, by realizing God and tsunami or whatever it may be, they are not bothered. In the Gita, it is said about the Gunatita. Sargepi nopajayante pralayana vethanti cha. World is created. That is nothing to them. And the whole world gets destroyed. They do not feel it. Because for them, the world was unreal. God alone is real. So, that is what Thakur describes here, supreme peace. After telling peace 3 times, he says supreme peace. Paramashanti is name of God himself. The nearer you come to the guy, now physical examples, which everybody can see, and so you can understand this, what Thakur is telling. The nearer you come to the Ganges, the more you feel its coolness. You will feel completely soothed when you plunge into the river. See the example. That means you have come very near God. So you are not feeling the disturbances. But if you get merged in God, then all the duality vanishes. Beautiful example. Now, this shows that the world is unreal. But why the world appears real? So, this Thakur's teachings is so multidimensional. All the stages of life, before, after realization, is touched upon. So he says, but the universe and its created beings and the 24 cosmic principles, again and again he talks of this. That is in Sankhya philosophy and Shaktas and other people also. Nature, primordial nature, they talk. Souls are different, according to Sankhya. They are conscious. But in physical nature, primordial nature is there. From that evolves and then gets universal mind, then get individual mind, we get ego, from that we get the 5 subtle elements. So these total is 24 elements. This does not apparently tally with the 92 elements by the scientists. That 100, 105 now, that is increasing. And that is not elements at all. Once somebody was saying that we are very gross people, 5 elements. And scientists are told 92 elements. Now, after nuclear physics, the name elements does not suit them. Though simply by tradition we keep that name. Because one proton and how many smaller particles are getting discovered. They do not see them. It is only theoretical. And our philosophy depends on perception. Without perception, we do not logic on hypothesis. So, what is the word? Their science analyzes objects. How do you know that they are objects? They take it for granted. Our science, our philosophy analyzes experience of man. And that is much truer analysis. So what we experience? When we perceive a thing, we see, we hear, we touch, we smell, we taste. Other than this, can we experience anything else in the world? Swamiji has said that if we had an electric sense or sixth sense, the world would have been totally different. So our experience is only of the 5 elements. And so we're arguing logically, but actually it is Rishi's experience. that this world consists of 5 elements. There is something in everything of this world which gives us sight. There is something in each thing which we smell, which we taste, which we touch, which we hear. So, in this whole world of experience, there is nothing beyond 5 elements. And these 5 elements are subtle. Subtle means ordinary man does not experience them. That is called subtle. But yogis, Sankhya philosopher, they experience them. The Vedantis experience them. As Thakur says, you are all sitting, I see in a glass case things are kept. So, mind and all its objects are seen. So, that is called the much better analysis. Now, that is Pancha Tattvas. They are part of these 24 Tattvas. Because cosmic mind is there, cosmic ego is there. So, like that, the Sankhya's count, and then the 5 become gross 5. So, total is 24 according to Sankhya philosophy. And different philosophies, they add 25, 26. That means if you add the Chetan as another principle, 25. Shiva is another, Shakti 26. Like that, the different philosophies. So, basic in all these analytical philosophies is 24 Tattvas. And that is why Thakur again and again talks of 24 Tattvas. The whole world. See, universe and its created beings. Now, created beings means both animate and inanimate. And so, he talks of 24 Tattvas. And the 24 cosmic principles. Because they are all proceeding. From that, all the forms are made. All exist because God exists. So, our question was, we have seen that everything is illusory. When you reach God, nothing of this exists. So, it is illusory. Now, the next question is, why does it appear real? So, it appears real because at the background, God is there. God is the reality. They are appearances, not illusory. They are appearances of God. God appears through names and forms into infinite forms. And so, suppose, imagine, God is not there. Nothing will remain. That is what Thakur is saying. All exist because God exists. Nothing remains if God is eliminated. Now, God is reality. It can never be eliminated. But imagine, think, if God is not there, nothing will remain. And that he explains by another example, mathematical. The number increases if you put many zeros after the figure 1. 1, you put a 0, 10, another 0, 100. So number is increasing like anything. But if you remove 1, then as many zeros you can put. They are not. So that is a beautiful example. God is real. So everything is real. Multi-dimensional world, infinite variety. But God, if He was not there, there are all only appearances. But the zeros don't have any value if the 1 is not there. The master continued. There are some who, so another phase. These are principles. Now, in human beings, there are some who come down, as it were, after attaining the knowledge of Brahman. For them, there is no up and down. So, Thakur says, come down as it were. Apparently, they come down. The mental state comes down. But the knowledge gained in mental state does not go. That is the definition of knowledge. So, it takes another form. There are some who come down as it were after attaining the knowledge of Brahman. After knowledge of Brahman means after Samadhi. Nirvikala Samadhi. Attainment of God means Nirvikala Samadhi. No separate subject and object. And retain the ego of knowledge. Retain or refind, you may say, that ego is gone. But ego of knowledge means retain. That means they know that this I is illusory. But they keep it so that they can deal with people. And ego of devotion, so two types of egos Thakur described which a man of realization keeps. Ego of knowledge means find out now. Two names are there. This man knows that I am Brahman, but I am Brahman itself is keeping the ego, because there is no vakya for describing the Nirvikala Samadhi. So I am the Brahman. This is its consciousness. That is ego of knowledge. Now same thing put in another way. I love God. So the emphasis is not on I am real or you are real or whatever. But a difference is created between God and myself. And that difference is always filled with love. Because you know what is the definition of love? Love is not attraction between two. No. Love is the manifestation of unity which already exists. Rather, identity which already exists. Love is the name of God, Atman. I have repeatedly told you, Brihadaranyaka 147, 148. In 147, the question is raised how to worship God. And the answer is given as your own Atman. And then the next question comes, Atman is too abstract. So tell us something by which we can love the Atman. And to that the reply is, Atman is the dearest. Atman is dearer than sun. Atman is dearer than wealth. Because of Atman, other things are loved. So, what is love? Satchit Anandam. That Ananda aspect appeals more, so it is called love. The consciousness aspect appeals more, so it is called Jnana. The existence and power aspect appeals more, so it is called Raja Yoga or Karma Yoga. Understood? So here Thakur talks of Jnana and Bhakti, two different approaches. Goal is set. So when they come back also difference is there in the approach. So that is why we say they keep. Now keep means they know it is illusory, but for he will tell that just as there are people who of their own sweet will stay, now gross example, stay in the marketplace after the market breaks up. They are still their market is over. That means they attend Nirvikala Samadhi, but they are in a lower plane. This was the case with sages like Narada. So Narada keeps the ego of devotion so that he is able to teach people who are keen for that. They keep the ego of devotion for the purpose of teaching men. Shankaracharya kept the ego of knowledge for the same purpose. So Thakur is very clear about Shankaracharya. He has realized and he appears to whole India he moves and teaches people. And he says karma is not allowed. Is this not a big karma? So appearance of karma because he has kept the ego of knowledge. And his ego of knowledge is to teach people for the same purpose. teaching people in their own styles. God, now again this side, because ego, keeping. So before reaching God, ego is not allowed. God cannot be realized if there is the slightest attachment to the things of the world. Same principle again and again. If subject and object is different, there comes attachment. And that attachment produces desire. Example, beautiful example. So how much exclusive attachment to God is necessary? A thread cannot pass through the eye of a needle if the tiniest fiber sticks out. Thread is made of so many fibers together. And one of the fiber has come out. Then it cannot enter the needle. So if some slightest portion of the mind or inclination is towards any object of the world, you cannot go to God. Now, other side. Oh, good. Now, suppose a man has realized in him these things are there or not. Kama, Krodha, etc. things are there or not. What is the answer? Appearance is there, but not real. The anger and lust of a man who has realized God are only appearances. They are like a burnt string. String is we roll certain fibers, then it becomes a string. Now suppose that string is burned. We still see that they are rolled. But if you touch, they will fly away. So that is the appearance. They are like a burnt string. It looks like a string, but a mere puff blows it away. Wind, Now, same relation, put this way, this way, this way. God is realized as soon as the mind becomes free from attachment. Slightest attachment, God cannot be realized. No attachment, automatically God is realized. Because same thing. There is no subject dealing with objects there. Whatever appears in the pure mind is the voice of God. Pure mind. Pure mind without attachment, without sense of enjoyment. Now, something comes in that mind. So from where it has come? From God. So, how these people behave? I'll give some example. Swami Brahmananda, whenever he had to go from one place to another, he would say, bring Panchangam. And in that he will see, this is the proper day, we shall move on that day. And that day comes, people are saying, no, I won't. Thakur has not willed it. And suddenly one day he'll say, come, Thakur has told me to go. Voice of God, you understand? But it is only for the pure mind. Otherwise, an emotional man, whatever comes in the mind, God tell me. You know the story? Uganda is a small country. And there was Idi Amin, the emperor of that. He said, God has told me to kill all kafirs. And he created a havoc in the world. He could not be controlled by America and all that. It stopped only when he died. So God told him to kill all kafirs. So anyway, I don't want to talk of Islam because they say that if you kill a kafir, you'll get 6 fairies in heaven. And the question has been raised. What about women? What they will get? Anyway, so anyway, when we raised the topic, why women are not mentioned in the Quran? Women are seen as objects of enjoyment to the extent that, after Chicago conference, there was a conference of history of religions in Paris, which Swamiji attended. And one speaker said that according to Islam, women have no souls. Swamiji got up and said, it is not true. There is no such word in Quran. You people, mullahs, have hoisted it later on. But whatever it may be, you have understood this sign. So what about them? They are only objects of enjoyment. That is the practical position. Anyway, we should not divulge more. God is realized over, free from attachment. Whatever appears in the pure mind is the voice of God. That which is pure mind is also pure buddhi. What mind does? Cogitates. This or that, that or this. And when it comes to a resolution, a decision, that mind is called buddhi. And so, if the mind is pure, both pros and cons are God only, then buddhi is also pure. And that is why anything arises in that mind is voice of God. Again, that again is pure Atman. How? Atman, God, is one without a second. So that which was appearing as mind, appearing as buddhi was God himself. God is one without a second. What is mind? Appearance of God. What is buddhi? Appearance of God. And if they are pure, what are they? God himself. Understood? Gaudapad's Mandukya Karika is complete. There he says that Nishpannam Brahma Tattada. When the mind becomes such and such, it has come out as Brahman himself, that mind. So same thing. Because there is nothing pure but God. Thakur has given this. Because there is nothing but God, Thakur has said that there is nothing pure than God. So, mind, if it is pure, then it is God. Buddhi, it is pure, then it is God. Because there is nothing which is pure than God. What is the meaning? God is one without a second. No chance of adulteration. If there is something other, then it can be mixed. But in God, this is not possible. It is only in God this is not possible. So whatever is pure is nothing but God. But in order to but again, but has come, because one moment he talks of man of realization, and he cannot be imitated by any man. That is why this but comes again and again. You can follow him, you cannot imitate him. So, but in order to realize God, one must go beyond dharma and adharma. This is another great principle in Thakur. Dharma, virtuous things. I am the doer. And I don't want dharma does not mean I go to bad things. So this always expressed in couples. In dharma, I am the doer. In adharma, I am the doer. So if I am the doer is there, God is not realized. But in order to realize God, one must go beyond dharma and adharma. The master sang in his melodious voice. This you have seen repeatedly, that after telling some principles, explaining that logically, Thakur would sing so that that impression goes deep in the man. Come, let us go for a walk, O my, into Kali, the wish-fulfilling tree. And there beneath it gather the four fruits of life. Dharma, Artha, Kama and Moksha, apparently. But as Thakur has told up till now, we are not interested in these three lower. Dharma is mentioned, so Thakur is singing this. That Dharma you get, Artha, Kama you get, and then you go beyond that and then you get Moksha. Sri Ramakrishna went out on the southeast veranda of his room. This was going on in the room. You remember, it started, Thakur was sitting on the mat on the floor of the room. Then after some time we are seeing Thakur sitting on the bedstead in the room. And now Thakur has come out. Master Mashai describes all these things for our visualization. Many people have said that when they read the gospel, they feel as if they are there. Sri Ramakrishna went out on the southeast veranda of his room and sat down. Pranakrishna and the other devotees accompanied him because they had been attracted. Hazara too was sitting there. We have been introduced to Hazara many times. Hazara had some financial problem in the house at one point. Now he wants to show to people that I am also like Thakur. And by that people will pay respect to him and some cash or pranami also. That was his intention. And Sardan Swamiji says in Rirapur Sangha, Thakur did not drive him out because there was some element of devotion also in him. One point. Secondly, people will easily understand the difference. It will really add to Thakur's real spirituality. So now Thakur is telling that very thing. He has no ego. Hazara was sitting there. The master said to Pran Krishna with a smile. Smile, we understand. That means in a very light mood. Hazara is not a man to be trifled with. If one finds the big dargah here means in Thakur. He is not telling I am a big dargah. If. What is the dargah? You know. In Muslims there are saints. And the Samadhi Sthan of a Muslim saint is called dargah. So Thakur is telling, if one finds the big dargah here, then Hazara is the smaller dargah. So here also something apparently or real. All laughed at the master's word. They understood. A certain gentleman, Navakumar by name, came to the door and stood there. At sight of the devotees, he immediately left. That means he could have talked to Thakur if nobody else was there. Thakur understood it. So, egotism incarnate, Sri Ramakrishna remarked. That he cannot see other people. He cannot be one amongst the many.
Navakumar has not come before. Navakumar has
First time the name has come. Yes. You want to know about him? Let us see.
Only one in gospel.
In the gospel, first time the name has come. So let us see. In Bengali it will be Navakumar. It will be in Papa, not Yaralava. Navakumar. Huh? Vijay Krishna Goswami Sangi. नवकुमार दक्षिणेश्वरे श्री रामकृष्णेर दर्शन करें एवं सही समय श्री रामकृष्णेर मुखे ईश्वरीय प्रसंगादि शुनेन परे बलराम बसुर सहित एक ही नौकाते कलिकाता फिरेन आर एक दिन ठाकुरेर निकट भक्त समागम देखिया दम्भ भरे दरजार काछ हईते चलिया जावाय ठाकुर ताके अहंकारेर प्रतिमूर्ति बोलिया मंतव्य करिया This much is given. Oh, I have to tell in English this thing. So sometimes I miss that, huh? He was the companion of Vijay Goswami. Vijay Goswami we have seen nicely, huh? And Dakshineshwar, he had seen Sri Ramakrishna. And he had heard the talk about God. And with Balaram Babu, he had gone back in his boat. One more time he came to Sri Ramakrishna and seeing assembly of devotees, he just stood near the door and went away. And Thakur called him incarnation of or embodiment of Ahankar. Okay? Then, so in this passage, so many people are coming and going now.
First January
1883. New Year's Day, so holiday, many people are coming and going. About 9:30. So all these things started at 8 o'clock.
Oh.
So many things have happened in that 1.5 hours. First, about Ramakrishna only, that we have seen in detail. Then many devotees. About 9:30 in the morning, Ramakrishna took leave of the master. Soon afterwards, a minstrel sang some devotional songs to the accompaniment of a stringed instrument. It is called Ektara. It is also called Gopi's Yantra.
Oh.
And bowls or other devotees generally sing to its accompaniment. I just saw details in the internet.
Oh.
So many swaras can be brought about in that, etc. The master was listening to the songs. So in his room, a musician was singing. So Thakur was listening to that. When Kedar Chatterjee, a household devotee, entered the room clad in his office clothes. So he had to go to office. Oh, so 1st January he did not have holiday. Because he was in some private company. But he did not want to miss visiting Thakur. So he used to come with the office club. He was a man of devotional temperament. He is introducing Kedar here. Huh? And cherished the attitude of the gopis of Vrindavan. We have seen gopis of Vrindavan, you know. So that attitude is cherished. Words about God would make him weak. This Thakur had pointed out to Narendra and said, see how much devotion. Swamiji said, I cannot judge devotion like that. People weep because they remember their own wives. But you can judge. And if you are telling, I accept. That is what Swamiji completed. So things are very clear in Swamiji that he cannot judge at that time. And Thakur can judge. The sight of Kedar awakened in the master's mind the episode of Vrindavan in Sri Krishna's life. Intoxicated with love, immediately. Thakur's mind is like that. immediately he goes into that mood for the sake of Kedar. Intoxicated with divine love, the master stood up and sang, addressing Kedar. That our habit. We read the song in Bengali.
There are some more songs before also.
Gopi Yantra song also, in Bengali it is given, in English it is not there, so we are not discussing it. Dekhi, Saki, say one katu dur, jata amar Sham Sundar, ar cholite janari. She has legs rather, but due to feeling of that feeling, she is unable to walk. But this much lines are given, huh? English. Tell me, friend, how far is the grove where Krishna, my beloved, dwells? His something added, huh? His fragrance reaches me even here, but I am tired and can walk no further. Fragrance. Thakur has told about the experience of God. As one goes near, this elemental knowledge becomes subtler and divine. So we get this fragrance. Sri Ramakrishna assumed the attitude of Sri Radha to Krishna and went into deep samadhi. That's all. He sang a little, went into samadhi. While singing the song, he stood there, still as a picture on canvas. So stillness is compared in this way. It's a picture on canvas. Absolutely still. We cannot imagine more still than a picture. But some difference is there. Huh? With tears of divine joy running down his cheeks. Absolutely still, but tears are coming. Kedar knelt before the master, touching his feet, he chanted a hymn. So Kedar was a devotee, but he knew Sanskrit well, he knew sutras well. So seeing that mood, he chants a hymn. That hymn is Hridaya Kamala Madhye Nirvishesham Niriham Harihara Vidivedyam Yogi Virdhyana Gamyam Janana Marana Bhiti Bhramshi Satchit Swarupam Sakala Bhuvana Bijam Brahma Chaitanya Mide. We'll see the English because Sanskrit those who can follow. So I chanted that. We worship the Brahman consciousness in the lotus of the heart, the undifferentiated, who is adored by Hari, Hara and Brahma. We have known about this Hari and Hara. Same dhatu, pratyar ved, a grammar. So, dhatu means reality. So, same substance, only our vision is different. Pratyar ved. Ri is the dhatu. And Ri means to steal or to take away. Now, Shiva is supposed to take away our sins. So Hari. And Vishnu is supposed to steal our minds. Chitta. So Hari and Hara.
Pratyas are, what are the pratyas?
Pratyay in grammar means that.
No, here in this word, Hara is.
Pratyay means our experience, our vision, our attitude.
Okay.
If we are thinking of God as a remover of sins, then we are thinking of Shiva. If you are thinking of God as who has stolen our mind, then we are thinking of Vishnu. Who is attained by yogis in the depths of their meditation, the scatterer of the fear of birth and death, the essence of knowledge and truth, the primal seed of the world. Okay. So this is a description in that hymn, and he feels Thakur is like that, so he sings it to Thakur. After a time, the master regained consciousness of the relative world. Soon Kedar took his leave and returned to his office in Calcutta. So in office clothes he had come, he stayed for some time and went away. At midday, so same day is progressing. At midday, Ramlal brought the master a plate of food that had been offered in the Kali temple. That was his official share that used to come to him. Like a child, he ate a little of everything. This is child's habit. Thakur ate everything, little. Later in the afternoon, so from here we shall read tomorrow. Because scene changes, some other types of devotees have come. Om Tava Kathāmritam Tapta Jivanam Kavivirīditam Kalmashāpaham Shravanamangalam Shrimadasatam Bhuvi Grunanti Ye Bhurida Jana Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.
Within 7 8.